Hey everybody, welcome back to Build It with Tim. Today we're playing a game called Is It Possible? And the answer, of course, is sure, why not? So I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw this advertisement for dog tags. Dog tags that have a QR code on them that you could scan. If the dog was lost, whoever found them would scan the QR code. It would open up the pet information page on their phone, and then they could get their current location and then send it to the owner. And I thought, is it possible to do this with Tadabase? And I think it is. So today, what I'm going to show you is kind of how I prototype this inside of Tadabase using some pretty basic features. There's no code involved here at all. Right, so let's walk through this together and I'll show you what I've got so far. Here's kind of the idea. Okay, now like I said, I wanted to try to like rapid prototype this thing because as I was sitting there watching the advertisement thinking, geez, I wonder if I could build this because Tadabase has a lot of these features, especially the getting the current location and sending a text message. So I thought, this can probably work. So what we're looking at here is, again, a prototype. I've realized that, I have left out a lot of kind of fundamental parts of this. Like if this was going to be a real business idea, I've left out a lot of fundamental parts like, the actual manufacturing of the tags and the QR codes that I've kind of left a lot of that out. On purpose because I wanted to just focus on like the user part of it. Okay. So I wanted to see how it would work from the user perspective, from somebody who is the pet owner, for them to add pets, register their pets with the little pet tag. And then from the other side of somebody who actually finds a lost animal, could they scan a QR code and then notify the owners of the current location via a text message? So that was really kind of the true test here today. Anyways, right, we are logged in as a user and I've added a pet. Now this is actually my dog, Lucy, and we can go to Lucy's details and here's what we've set up. Okay, so we have a form to edit the pet, and I'm going to show you all the data that powers all this in a moment, but we have a form to edit the data, the pet name. Now I've given the ability to do 2 contacts, right? So that a text message would go out to 2 different people if you want. Also the ability to connect to a vet office with the ability to add a new vet office. So the idea is, well, if this is kind of a public application that you sign up for, then it would be cool to store all vets that people have inputted into the system and be able to select one, say, oh, great, my vet's already on here, and they can select the vet, or you can always add a new one. The home address for you, the user, photo of your animal, and then some animal information or pet information. So the age, the weight, gender, and whether or not they are good with kids, dogs, and cats. Okay, so after we filled out this form, we have registered their bark tag, is what I'm calling it. And you can see that record has now been created here. So this is the tag that then goes on the animal, right? Okay, now what does this look like when somebody finds your pet? Let's say your pet runs away and somebody finds your pet. So they scan the QR code. It opens up this page, which contains detail components and a form. That's really it. It's like the 2 most basic things you can use in Tadabase. We're showing a photo of the pet so that you can verify and say, okay, yeah, this is the same dog. Some basic pet information, some more detailed pet information that the user has filled out previously, and then the vet's name, address, and phone. So God forbid you find this pet and it was, it's hurt or something, then you have vet information right there. Now, this is the part that I really wanted to figure out. So we need a way to notify the owner when somebody has lost their pet. So the idea here is that we can utilize an address field inside of Tadabase along with a button to get the current location. So let's say I find this animal and I can say get my current location, and then I can click save. Now, what happens after that is we get a text message. Okay, so we get a text message, the owner does, saying this tag has been found at this location. So the whole concept actually works, and it was pretty easy to build in Tadabase. Now we're in the builder, and I'm going to walk you through how I did this, the steps that I took to do this, and show you that there's really not a whole lot to it. So we're using some basic functions that we've used in the past 30 videos, or however many Build It with Tims there have been. Connection fields, form components, record rules, table rules. And in this case, I think there's going to be a new thing I'm introducing here, which I've never really done a video on, which is sending a text message using Twilio. Okay, but first things first, let's go through our data tables. First, we have our users table. Okay, and in this table, this is going to be our contacts or the pet owners, right? So somebody signs up for the app, they input all their personal information, then they add a pet that connects to them. They become the owner of the pet. We have their name, their email, profile picture, status and role for login control, and then we have their home address and a phone number. Okay, the next step is to add a pet for that particular user. So the pet connects to a user, in this case, contact one. So that's going to be whoever is the first person to add the pet, right? And then that person can then add another contact. But we're doing things like the pet name. Here, this might be easier. We'll go through this way. The pet name, home address, where does the pet live, a photo of the pet, the age, the gender, the weight, and whether they're good with kids, dogs, or cats. So that same stuff that we saw here on the pet detail page when somebody's modifying or editing their pet record. Now the veterinarian table is really, really simple. All we need is a name, an address, and a phone, right? And as more people are using this table is going to fill up. So somebody could select, they could search for their vet and find their vet, or they could add their own. And you can see that has a connection here from the pets table. So each pet connects with a vet. Now the bark tags, right? These tags or tag records are created when somebody clicks register the tag. We give that tag an ID, which this here is an auto increment field. And then it connects to a pet, contacts, vets. So a lot of kind of, we're using some cascading connection techniques here. But then we're also passing over the contacts phones. So contact one, contact two, whoever is on the pet record, we're going to bring over their phone number and save it as an actual phone number because we're going to use that for the text message. And then we have these three fields, which are for the people or person who finds the lost animal, their name, their phone, and their current location. And then last but not least is this location history table. So I figured maybe it's a good idea to keep track historically of all the times the tag has been marked as found. And one, it's just, I feel like it's a good idea to have that history. And two, because when somebody fills out the form with their current location, what we're doing after that is we're actually going to update the records to a blank value. So we're going to reset the values so that if somebody scans the tag again, the form will be empty and ready for them to input once again. Right. So there's a couple other things I want to talk about data-wise that are kind of part of our overall workflow, and that of course is rules. Okay, so all we're really doing with the rules here is we're passing data from table to table. So when a new pet is created, we're going to set their home address to the connected value of the contact's home address. So when somebody signs up, they input their home address. When they add a pet, we're going to pass that home address from the contact to the pet. Veterinarians don't have any rules. Bark tags, we are passing connected values once again. So we're passing the contact connections, the vet connection, and the phone, we are getting the raw phone number, all through connected values. So when a new tag is created, we're going to go reach into the pet table and pull out the following pieces of information: contact 1, contact 2, the vet. And in this case, we're actually going into the contacts table and pulling out the contact's phone number. And then same with location history. Again, we're all of these rules are just to pass data from table to table. So we need to set the pet connection, and we're going to get that from the connected value of the tag connection. Okay, and that's it for data. Data is probably actually a little bit more complicated than the page setup in this case. So the page setup looks like this. We have a dashboard page, which is this page right here. And this page consists of a data table, or a table component, sorry, and a detail link and a button to add a new pet. Both of those options were added inside the table component. So under options, we have allow new record pop-up page enabled. And then we've added a detail link from the links section of the table component. Our add pet form is pretty basic, and actually I'm going to modify it slightly here. We only really need the pet name, and the contact we'll set up to say we'll set it to the logged in user for contact 1. Okay, so we're adding pets there connected to the logged in user. The pet detail page, which is here, consists of a form, another form, and a detail component, and a table component. So 4 components, and they look like this. We have our pet form, which is just a collection of all of our fields on the pet record. There's nothing fancy happening here at all. Then we have a form to add a new bark tag connected to this pet. And I've removed all of the inputs and modified what the submit button says. In this case, it just says register bark tag. So somebody clicks that button, and then it's going to add a record in this table below, the bark tag table, as a connected record to the pet. Now, just to display the edits that are coming off of this pet form, then we are also displaying a pet detail component. Okay, now that's really it from the owner perspective in this case. Okay, they create their account, they add their pet, they fill out their pet details, and they register this tag, creating the actual bark tag record. Before I talk about that, I just want to point out that we have 2 pages here that are secured at the moment. The dashboard page is only going to show pets that are connected to you as a logged in user. So we could add some security here if we'd like, but it's filtered in a way that it's not going to show you anybody else's pets. It's only going to show you your own when you log in. But these 2 pages, the tags page and the location history, have an admin level restriction. So they are not intended for any user of this app to actually access. Okay, but I'm going to show you what the tag detail page looks like. We have the bark tag detail page. Okay, this is what's going to pop up when somebody scans the actual tag. We have the photo, right, so that you can confirm that this is the dog, and all of the actual pet information as well as the vet information. Now this form, okay, we're going to talk about this form more in a moment, but when I submit this form and get the current location to populate this and click save, that's what sends off the text message. Okay, and that looks like this. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 detail pages, or detail components, sorry. So the pet detail, which just shows the photo, the tag detail, which shows a couple fields here in this case, another pet detail with the pet information, and then a vet detail. Now the form is a very basic form. There's only 2 special things happening. Number 1, we're inserting a connected record into the location history table so that we can store all of the previous like scans and locations when the animal was found. And then we are just passing information from the tag record over to the location history record. We're more or less just copying those values. So we're setting the connections from the form values, and we're bringing in the contact phone again from the connected users. Now, the other thing here that's going on is the actual text message. So let's talk about Twilio for just a moment. Okay, so we're going to sign up for our Twilio account. And as soon as you sign up for that account and you land on the Twilio dashboard, you'll click a big button that says get phone number, and then you need to copy 3 pieces of information. We're going to navigate to our settings, text message settings, and then we'll enter in the account security ID, a token, and the phone number that was provided to you through Twilio. After we have that set up, all we have to do is go into the notifications tab of the form, text messages. We're going to choose custom text message from the dropdown, and then we're going to send the text to field values of contact 1 phone and contact 2 phone if you'd like. And then we are going to build our message. So here I'll just say tag ID by clicking the add field dropdown and selecting the field that I want to add, was found at this address. And then again, I've added the current location field. And that's the data that actually gets sent out in the text. Now, the last kind of piece of this puzzle is resetting those current location values and the other values that are submitted on this notify owner form. So I've done that through a scheduled task, which is just going to run every day at midnight, and we're just going to set things back to blank values. Now, the only reason I want to do this is because if your dog gets lost frequently, I guess, which fortunately mine does not, but when the next time the tag is scanned, I want that form to be blank. That's all. That's really the only purpose. And that's it. And then the last, I guess I forgot about this particular piece, but the location sent page. So after the location has been sent, so we'll do, we fill out this information and we send it. Then we're just redirecting to like a confirmation page. Okay. And this can be designed however you feel like it should look, but it's just saying location sent. Thanks for helping. All right. And speaking of thank yous, thank you for watching this video. I realize that this is not necessarily a build video and more of a show and tell video. But again, the purpose of this was, can I take something that I found on the internet and build it in Tadabase? And again, I think the answer is yes. So now that we're at this point, we're going to come back to this in another episode, and we're going to kind of really get into it and design this to be more of an actual app. Okay, so rather than just a prototype, we'll do really some more finer details with how records and data is manipulated and stored, but also on the page side. So with how we are displaying things, we'll make it look super cool, and we'll go from there. All right, so thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Take care.